What's up, RBLR Nation? Hope you're all having a great day, great week, great weekend. Whether you're listening to us live or on demand, we are RBLR Bulls. I am one of your co-hosts, Carter Brantley, and I am joined by the great Mr. Musab Tariq here to bring you some excellent USF athletic coverage because, man, what a week. Man, oh man, I feel like we say that every episode, but this was actually like probably one of the bigger weeks in USF history athletically, and that's not an exaggeration. It was massive. Some men's basketball news. Tournament W. They're headed to the dance. They're playing tomorrow against Louisville, and they've got a chance to beat Louisville. But we'll get all into that. But before we do, as well as some other excellent athletic happenings at USF, Mr. Tariq, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Like you just said, Carter, a bunch of other excellent W's, going on around USF. So, yeah, man, it's just so exciting to see just so much action going on. At first, I found myself a little overwhelmed, but now I think I'm just enjoying it. It's like every single day. I got all the accounts on my Instagram and my Twitter and my Facebook, I tagged the softball, baseball, tennis, track, all of them. So, and it's like every single day, man, I'm seeing some big W or, oh, Bulls win or something. So it's like, dang, man.
Yeah, I mean, what more can you really ask for? What a time of year to be a sports fan. To be quite honest, really a lot of stuff going on with baseball and then football free agency, which we'll be talking about the Bucks later on. So give us a follow at RBLR Sports if you want to keep track of that. Also, you can give us a like or subscribe if you like what you hear about USF. But yeah, like Musab said, there seems like there's something new every day to talk about with USF athletics, and every week we are coming at you with some USF athletics news and some discussions and some analysis. You're seeking something USF sports athletic related, we've got it. But we'll start with the big one, the one that everyone's talking about. That's the men's basketball team. Like I said, the American Conference Tournament W. Just massive, man. They took the regular season by storm, and they they really took care of business. The first matchup was against Charlotte. And Charlotte, I was surprised that they made it that far, to be quite honest with you. No disrespect to the 49ers. They were just having a bit of a rough year, and yet they still managed to sneak their way into the semis. And then USF took care of business, 86-64. That extended their winning streak for the season to 10 games, 24 wins on the season, which was one away at the time from the school record. Coach Hodgson making history, reaching the conference championship in each of his first 3 years as a head coach. They broke the all-time program record for most total points scored in a single season. That explosive offense coming to fruition. And Joseph Pinion, he was the man. 24 points, 6 of them coming, 6 deep, 6 shots coming from deep. His 1,000th career point also coming in the second half. What were some other key performances from this first tournament victory against the Charlotte 49ers, Musab?
Yes, sir. Yeah, Wes Enos also matched him with 24 points, racked up 5 assists. So just the iconic duo, USF action going on. And they are, like I just said, this iconic duo is actually the 12th pair in D1 history to both hit 100 3-pointers in the same season.
Wow.
And then our beloved AAC Player of the Year, Isaiah Nelson, dominated the paint with 16 points, 8 boards, just to keep, the Charlotte boys in check. And then, shout out Josh Omajafo. I don't know why, but I feel like recently I've been seeing his name a lot more than before. Not that he was irrelevant, but I mean, these last couple of games, man, he's been seriously making an impact, and I've been seeing it with my own eyes. Yeah, dog on the glass, led the team with 10 rebounds. So, later on, we blew the game wide open with the 17-1 run in the second half. The Charlotte just really couldn't do anything about. And that's just the good old USF basketball team I know. We're a second half team, and, it shows. So,
Yeah, man.
Man.
Yeah, Coach Hodgson has those halftime adjustments, or whether he kind of lights a fire under them. Although they were playing decent against Charlotte going into the half, but even so, it was nice, like you said, to see them go on a little run and really put some distance between themselves and Charlotte. And yeah, if Josh Omajafo is playing that way, USF's a really difficult team to beat because you're going to get some solid performances from Pinion, Ennis, Nelson, and Brown. If all 4 of them are playing poorly and Omajafo is your best player, then yeah, maybe it's not a great day. But if Omajafo is playing well, it's also likely that at least 2 of those other guys, if not 3, similar to what happened against Charlotte, are playing pretty well. USF's cooking. They're going to be a really tough team to contend with in this tournament. Yeah, it was a really tremendous start to the tournament. It was their first game, came out with a victory, and then they went on to the championship game against Wichita State, which was a team that they lost to earlier this season at home. Kind of a heartbreaker on a West Enos turnover at the end of the game. They started off, I think, down 15 points, and then they managed to come all the way back just to fall short. That was not the case in the championship game. They just, they made things clear. They took a 15-point victory home, 70-55. And that was the ticket puncher. That's what made them, that's what clinched their appearance in the dance. It didn't matter their point differential against Charlotte or any of that stuff, quad and all that, blah, blah, blah. We can set that aside because USF is headed to the big dance because they won it. It's the first time in school history that they swept both the regular and the tournament trophies. So that's really huge. The first time they're appearing in the NCAA tournament since 2012. 11 straight wins, tied the program record for 25 total wins on the season. What were some individual performances that stood out from this game? Because it was another one where kind of contributions from across the board, really. And Isaiah Jones, he kind of had a big game too off the bench. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I want to start off with Wes Enos, 19 points, 3 steals, got tournament MVP. And then Isaiah Nelson, yeah, I mean, 13 points, 6 boards, 2 blocks. He ended up making the all-tournament team. And then, yeah, Josh Omojafo, again, being a dog in the paint, he racked up 10 points. And then Isaiah Jones, yeah, man, 8 points, 7 big rebounds to kind of keep that momentum going. So, the thing is and I feel like I've seen enough, watching the other teams outside of even this conference as well, after watching USF, their opponents, and other teams, just because I got this ESPN Plus membership and all that, so might as well.
There you go.
But on a serious note, no one is. I mean, maybe one or two, maybe a hand, maybe. But the way USF is fast paced, dude. It really just screws. It can really mess with these opponents' heads, and just constantly, man, we are just charging down the court. And I think my favorite part about this team is actually probably the guards. Honestly, I don't know what it is, dude, but it puts a smile on my face seeing Gavin Hightower and CJ Brown being. I know Hightower is, I think, under 6. CJ Brown, he's around 6 or something. But anyway, regardless, these guys are going up against a big 7-foot something Will Berg with no fear at all. And we did it over and over and over again. We do it against every single big man. We are just constantly attacking the rim. And same thing with Isaiah Nelson. He'll, catch it on the top of the key or something, maybe a little pump fake, and then boom, he charges it to the rim. So I just feel like that's something, we like to do, is kind of, take advantage of, and forcing opponents to kind of get in that foul trouble, because that was the big question mark was, what can we do to stop the big man, Will Berg? And then also they have their other star player, number 1. Why am I forgetting his name?
Let me take a look.
Oh man. He was, yeah.
But they did good. They did really well.
Yeah. Oh no, dude. Yeah, they locked them down defensively.
Yeah.
It was an all-around effort.
For sure.
Star players doing their star player things, but
Battle. Yeah.
Dylan Battle.
Yeah,
dude.
He's their star guard. He still had 15 points and 6 of 8 shooting, but he only got those 8 shots up. So that's the thing. That they weren't really able to force feed him the ball as much as they probably would have liked. USF seemed to do a good job of getting it out of his hands. So, and those 14 turnovers that they forced against the Shockers was really impressive. But yeah, overall, man, their guards are really super fun. I mean, like you said, there's a reason that they got off to that fast break battle, and they won it, 20-4. That's really outstanding stuff. They can beat you in a variety of ways. They shoot the ball really well. They get to the hoop. They can get out on the fast break. They defend at a really high level. Jonathan Shields, who unfortunately couldn't join us today, but he always talks about how they're sort of the Alabama, but just like the American Conference version. And I think that's a really interesting way to put it. So yeah, they take on Louisville. They're the USF is the 11th seed in the tournament. Louisville, obviously the 6th seed. They're playing up in Buffalo, New York. which is actually Coach Hodgson's stomping ground. So I think he's going to have some family in attendance, which is huge.
I think he's
Uh,
actually gonna see. I think his father is gonna watch him coach for the first time ever.
Yeah, it's like the type of things that you're just like, this isn't, there's no way this isn't like a book, like it's one of those things that you just can't,
Seriously.
you can't even make it up, like it's just the truth is just so much more remarkable than anything you could ever make up. So it's awesome, man. I'm really, it's a wonderful story for sure. And
Would it be too far to say Hodson is a Kurt Signetti of basketball?
hey man, I don't know. I don't know. USF's not, I don't know if the American is quite the Big Ten, but hey, you never know. You never know. He could turn USF into the Kurt Signetti, especially if they move to a bigger conference, which apparently, it's the rumors are always flying with that. So you never know. You never know. It could be kind of fun, but yeah, no, it's a really excellent start. There's been a lot of rumors flying around about Coach Hodgson maybe moving elsewhere, but from what I've heard, from what people are saying online, it seems like Syracuse is out of the picture, which was kind of the bigger school for my concern. Now it's really between staying at USF or going to Providence, because Providence just fired their head coach as well. So that's kind of an interesting little backstory. But he's kind of shut it down. He's like, hey, I'm not distracted. And you know what? He made it to the NCAA tournament. That's what's different between him and Alex Golish. Golish, he wasn't able to ever get it done quite that way. And Coach Hodgson in his first season was just like, yeah, we're going to win the conference. And, if he gets a bigger job at this point, it's kind of like, hey, good for you, man. Like you're living your best life. And you can't really blame him because Providence is a big time program. But regardless, focusing on the here and now, because we'll have an entire offseason talk about Coach Hodgson if he does end up leaving. They're taking on Louisville, and Louisville star guard Mikael Brown Jr. Hollowed with a back injury. I'm hearing that he's probably not going to play, and that's massive because he is averaging over 18 points a game, over 4.5 assists per game. So if he's not able to go, that's kind of a big deal. But what are you seeing from this USF Louisville matchup, Musab? What gives you hope that USF could pull off it's not a massive upset like 6-11. That's not exactly like it's not the 15-2 or anything, but it's still an upset nonetheless. So what gives you hope that USF could maybe pull this off?
Yeah, man, I think it's definitely possible with with the weapons we got, and I mean, of course, it's never good to hear about any sort of injury, but this helps us knowing that Michael Brown is probably going to be out, so that's big shoes to fill. So that's the big question: is can Louisville find a replacement for him? But on top of that, I mean, I feel like just the threat we have on the perimeter as well with Joe Pinion and Wes Enos. I mean, if they get hot, dude, it's game over. Isaiah Nelson just doing Isaiah Nelson things. So yeah, I just hope he ends up just being good on both ways or both ends of the ball. So even Jay Bilas and CBS both been high on us just because the fact that we won 12 straight games. We had a couple of OT losses, so it's like
Right.
if you think about that, man, we've had a real good record overall and basically almost kind of like undefeated. But I don't know. Here's what I'm thinking though, Carter, and kind of back at you is perhaps this game could be like a 3-point shootout, a lot of rebounds, depending on who's hot, who's not. So I don't know, man. I think if we and on top of that, we got to control the boards. That's the other big thing is controlling the boards. Not allowing Louisville to get any second chance points for whatever reason. So if we do that, I think we have the capability to move on to the next round. But I mean, it's any given. It's anyone's game in March Madness. They are the higher seed. So I'm
Yeah.
not gonna start crying because we lost or something. Now, if we get annihilated or something, I'm gonna be like, okay, hey, that's a little funky or something. But
Sure.
I'm expecting a good fight.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think USF makes it close. I think that's really all you can ask for out of a team in this kind of situation because they are underdogs. They're not favored for a reason. And even if Michael Brown Jr. isn't able to go, like, they've still got some other solid players. Like Ryan Conwell's a really good one for them. He's technically even their leading scorer. by half a point. So it's, the margin is pretty much non-existent. But there is something to that. Obviously, Conwell's their off guard. Like Brown Jr. provides a lot more playmaking than he does, so it is kind of tough to be without that floor general. But they've still got some other options on the floor. They've got four players in double digits, averaging double digit point totals, and then even their fifth man, the big man, Mr. Frew, who's leading the team in rebounds with 6 per game, 6'11" out of Germany. He's a junior. Even he is only he's still at 9 points per game. So they've got some options offensively for sure for USF to keep up with. And it's a really, it's going to be a really fascinating game for sure. Because man, like you said, if USF's hot from deep, it's really hard to keep up with them if they're shooting the pill well. Because man, those
Especially being that they're fast paced. I don't know how exposed Louisville is to teams like USF.
sure,
That's
yeah,
that's the other thing as well as sometimes it's easy to think, oh, just because Louisville beat this school and USF lost to this school, Louisville's automatically going to win. But sometimes those are some things that take into factor is how used to are they to a fast paced offense. And on top of that, I hate to put it on the spotlight. I don't know who's going to be, but whoever's replacing Michael Brown, I mean, first of all, you're I hate to put him down, but you're backup, and now
yeah,
you're going against a fast-paced, USF basketball team. You know what I'm saying? So can they handle that? So we'll see,
yeah.
man.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one for sure. I mean, it's the March Madness. Every team's going to be it's going to be tough. Like none of the teams are here because they were a shoe in. I mean, sure, you'll have some teams that sneak in and get lucky in the tournament or their conference tournament or whatnot. But for the most part, most of the teams that are here are pretty tough, especially once you get into this sort of middle ground area with the 6 and the 11s and the 7s and the 10s. The margins are a good bit thinner. And USF, they've got enough shooting to where if they get hot, if they have a good game, if even just one of Enos or Pinion just goes crazy from deep, goes ballistic, we could be talking about a pretty massive upset. And it's not the craziest thing. USF managed to sneak out an upset. I think the last time they were in the tournament, or at least early in the 2010s when Coach Stan Heath was still there. They had Dominique Jones on the roster. It was a fun team. They managed to sneak out an upset in the March Madness tournament in one of their appearances. So it's not unprecedented. It wouldn't be the first time in program history, but it would set a record for the most wins in program history in a regular season. So that's kind of fun to think about. But before we move on to the women's team, because they had their conference tournament come to an end, unfortunately, not as exciting. But before we get to that, there were some kind of fun extra little accolades that I wanted to mention. Isaiah Nelson and Wes Ennis got picked for the NABC All Southeast District teams. Zay took first team honors. Wes grabbed a spot on the second team. What else did you see in terms of little extra accolades? Because I know we talked about the conference honors, but there's a lot of extracurricular stuff that goes on with college basketball. So what else did you see, Mr. Tariq?
Just I mean, for example, West leading, the team in scoring, overall, setting that new program record, just being one of the hottest shooters. But yeah, man, I just feel like there's just all kinds of records going on with this basketball team, with our athletics team. So yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing new really. I mean, it's kind of more of the same. And Isaiah Nelson kind of taking home that conference player of the year honor last year, as well as I think he earned a spot on the newcomer of the year team, and he might have won newcomer of the year as well, and he won defensive player of the year in the conference. So he took that sweep as well. I know we talked about it last week, but I kind of wanted to bring it up again because hey, it's a big deal. He's the first guy to ever do that, and he's the first USF player to win all three as well. So it's fun. It's fun stuff. Before one last thing, I know I said that was the last thing before we moved on, but I wanted to throw a little question your way, Mr. Tariq. You've been filling out brackets, I'm assuming. Who you got winning it all? Who's your team? You can say USF if you want, but
Man, sheesh, dude. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna end up being wrong, but
Oh, we all are.
um,
We all are.
I
That's fine.
enjoy. I mean, I'm just. I don't want to just. I'm not gonna say UF just because they're the Florida team or whatever. I've seen a couple of Houston games. I think it'd be nice to watch Houston. I really like their freshman guard. He's
Yeah.
nasty. I'm forgetting his name, but yeah, I've seen a couple of their games. I remember watching the Houston Iowa State game. That was probably one of my favorite. I think that was probably my favorite non-USF game this season so far.
Yeah, I mean, they take on Idaho in their first round. They're a 2 seed. That's definitely a solid pick. Yeah, I mean, they're really an
What about
impressive team.
you?
I've that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I've picked Arizona in most of my brackets. I think that they're a really good team. They got a lot of physical guards. They've got some really solid wings that can do a lot of really interesting things. Then they've got the big men to back it up as well. So I think Arizona probably has the most balanced roster in this tournament. Not necessarily the highs of some of these rosters like BYU with their top flight prospect and Kansas with Peterson and all these other teams. But man, that UF Vanderbilt loss was tough. It looked bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not necessarily sold on them either. I know our boy Johnny is a big UF guy, so I hate to say it, but man, they looked brutal. It was not a pretty game. So yeah, I didn't pick them to win in any of my brackets. I don't even know if I had them going to the Final Four. I think I had them losing relatively early, but regardless, it should be a lot of fun, man. This is such a great time for hoops. You got the NBA going on, obviously, but college hoops is really at its peak, obviously. I mean, it's March Madness,
This
man.
is March, yeah.
That's right. This is March. It doesn't get any bigger. So moving on to the women's basketball team, unfortunately, they took an L against UTSA in the conference tournament, which ended their season. They declined to play in a postseason tournament. They took a 62-51 loss in the conference quarterfinals. Ended up with a 20-12 season, so another 20-win season for the program. That's solid. Laura Maputo was once again the bright spot, 16 points, 10 boards, seventh double-double of the year. Carla Brito was trying her best, 14 points and 6 rebounds. She also played almost the entire game. Eden Battle also chipped in with some double-digit point totals, 10 points. She even cut the lead to 2 in the fourth. She was leading a nice little comeback, but unfortunately, it just wasn't quite enough. This got off to such a slow start. They shot a rough 26.7% in the first quarter. What were some other storylines from this game that led to this really disappointing exit?
Yeah, well, first off, yeah, UTSA went on like a 10-1 run right before halftime. So, that really
Right.
swung their momentum, kind of, kept the Bulls from playing behind. I do want to give it, credit to our defense by forcing 18 turnovers, but still wasn't enough to overcome the Roadrunners' lead. Shout out Stephanie Ingram. She did set a career new high with 3 blocks in the game, but what really separated us from UTSA was we got annihilated, man, on the rebound battle, dude. I mean, 47-26, dude. We got, well,
Woof.
there's not even words to describe how badly we got out rebounded. Okay, maybe I'm exaggerating a little too much, but no, it was embarrassing. Carter, I'm gonna tell you this, man. Um, we got a lot of weapons, dude, everywhere. Brito, Battle, Laura, and Putu. But we don't have size, man. All right.
Yeah.
And dude, I'm talking, we need size with the height, and I'm going to keep it real with you, man. We need a little bit of width as well, man. We need
Yeah.
some big bodies in the paint,
The
dude.
ability to be
Because let me
physical.
tell you something, man. We were getting number 25 on UTSA, man. Just every time I would see her with the ball, I'd be like, "Oh man, I hope she passes it away or something, man." Because look, Lauren Putu still did a good job, or Ines Piper, whoever was guarding her, would did their best they could, but I mean, it's just not enough. And then the second chance points. So we do have a like a role player, or player on the bench, Lana Vukacic, who's got some size to her. But I think she just needs to sharpen up her skills, which is probably why she's not getting that much playing time. So fingers crossed, we see more of her, or maybe we get some other talent as well. Just because, unfortunately, I just felt like that really kind of bit us. We did what we could, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
rebounding in women's basketball is, it's really just more about who's the more aggressive one out there. I mean, look at Carla Brito, dude. She's 5'11", man, but she's a rebound monster, because she'll get up there and she'll body someone if she has to. You know what I'm saying? So it
Yeah.
don't matter. I mean, you'll see Stephanie Ingram have games where she's rebounding a lot. So it's just who's the more physical one. On the other hand, with men's, it's, yeah, physicality, but I mean, It's about height too. You're not gonna be a 6'6" guy, and with all the hustle you have, I'm sorry, but you're not gonna out rebound someone like Will Berg. Maybe you get lucky once, but
Yeah. Yeah, or Wes Enos is probably a good example too.
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So, yeah,
for
look, you'll
sure.
you'll have those outliers, but,
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's what happened with our women's basketball team, but hey, we had a great season, dude. I also wanna give a shout out to UTSA. I wanna give credit for them winning the AAC,
Yeah, they
taking down
advanced, right?
Rice as well, dude, and, they beat them pretty bad. I'm looking at the score, I think it was by 15 or something, maybe a little bit more or something, but it made me scratch my head like, "Man, what the hell is going on with Rice?" Because
Yeah.
one team, the only team that I was like, dang man, like USF's in trouble in the AAC tournament was Rice when they played us in the regular season. I thought them Rice girls were looking real good. I was like, dang, okay, this is the team to beat. But who knows what happened? At the end of the day, yeah, UTSA took it all. So shout out to them, and we'll just
Yeah.
wait for the next season. But hey, it was a good season though overall, man.
Yeah, and it's comforting to know that, you go out and you lose to the eventual conference champion, you kinda chalk that up, you kinda
Yeah,
say, "Hey, ball up top, like, let's go
yeah,
back again next season, let's
yeah.
regroup." Like you
Yep.
said, man, it's tough to compete with size sometimes,
But
and,
but it was also but it was also the little bit of execution in the end too. I
sure,
I forgot to
absolutely.
mention, we went cold probably in the worst time. We didn't score for like almost 3 minutes late in the fourth quarter. So
Oof, yeah.
that doesn't help either.
That's brutal. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough to go on a cold shooting stretch like that if you're not winning the rebound battle. If you're not winning the rebound battle, it's going to be an uphill battle regardless. But when you factor in that poor shooting as well, or cold shooting, if you want to call it that, yeah, it's tough. But it's fun that they still keep their streak of alive. 13 straight seasons of at least 20 wins for the women's basketball program. Still a cool thing. Definitely not anything to sneeze at or be slept on because they've been churning out some really positive seasons. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the head coaching spot. They're on a national search, which includes the current coach, Coach Baxter. But I think they're going, they're obviously going to do their due diligence, and rightfully so. They've got a big decision ahead of them because Coach Fernandez was here for a long time, and his kind of abrupt exit to go to that WNBA, it kind of put the season a little bit on uneasy terms, but they made the best of it, and I think that they had a season that they can hold their heads high when they look back for sure. But yeah, we'll see how the offseason goes. We'll see how that head coaching search goes. We'll be talking about it for the rest of the women's basketball offseason for sure. Moving on to baseball. Baseball, man, they're kicking
The
butt.
boys are cooking,
They
dude. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, they've been cooking. They kicked off a 4-game series against Columbia, 6-3 solid win that brought their record to 15-3. A couple of highlight performances from that first game. Edwin Alicia, he was lights out, man. 7 2/3 innings, only gave up a couple of hits. Got his 4th win of the year. Really fun stuff. All 6 of those runs came in the 5th inning. They found a crooked number up there. Eli Thomas had a 2 RBI single. Jacob Green also had one. So that moved them to 12-1 at home. So that was really fun. Also, Nathan Early and Jevin Relaford had some on base streaks that was kind of fun. And then they won another one and another one on Saturday. They had a doubleheader against Columbia and they advanced to 17-3. They had an 8-game winning streak after that. Almost perfect at home, 14-1. Michael Sane, he was kind of the standout guy in game 1, pitched 7 1/3, scoreless, 6 strikeouts. And then game 2, USF broke out for 10 runs. Gabe Growlus had a bases clearing triple in the 7th. That's always fun. And then Eli Thomas was also another big factor. He had 3 runs scored, 2 RBIs. He was a really big part of their offensive production. And Nathan Early, he extended that on base streak to 15 games. And USF, they're cooking. They had a 2-0 shutout in that opener. So really, really fun stuff. And then they took on Jacksonville 13-3 in the first one. It ended after a mercy rule. They got the 10-run rule after 7. Jake Kulikowski went 3 for 4. He had his 2nd home run of the season as well. And it's just really impressive. They're 8-0 in games when a player at home hits a home run. That's a very Buster only stat on ESPN, just kind of and 15-1 overall at home. They've been really outstanding. And the offense was also active on the base paths. They had 4 stolen bases, drew 7 walks. They were taking their pitches, taking their medicine. And Caden Smith earned his 2nd win of the season in relief. And Lance Triple extended his hitting streak to 7 games. So it was really fun, man. This was a really tremendous little stretch. And what do they got coming up? And were there any kind of fun little accolades that any players won from this past week?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Freshman pitcher Michael Sine, as you mentioned, man, he had a day for himself, man. He was named American Conference Pitcher of the Week. After throwing 7 scoreless innings with 6 strikeouts against Columbia. And this is actually his second major honor this month, following his selection as the perfect game freshman of the week 2 weeks ago. So we actually have officially broke into the national rankings this week. We're landing at 25th in the perfect game top 25 after that, 17-3 start to the season. So, yeah, man, I didn't, I'll keep it real with you, man. I didn't know we were like that, dude. But USF Bulls are, I mean, our baseball teams like that. Look, I mean, I heard some great things about the softball team, about Ken Erickson and all that. We didn't see that much, pregame hype or something for our beloved baseball team. But damn, man. And now, folks, we begin some conference play this weekend. We'll be at home against the Rice Owls. It's going to be a 3-game series starting this Friday, March 20th.
Yeah, man, it should be a good one. If there's Rice historically has been a really tough program. They've actually produced some pretty solid players. So they're not quite Vanderbilt or any of the huge programs, but in the context of the American Conference, they're actually pretty good. So yeah, man, USF cracking the top 25, even if it's just the perfect game rankings, even if that's the only rankings they crack, it's still pretty fun. They're up there with teams like Louisiana Lafayette and Southern Miss. Those are my 2 other favorite. I had a buddy who I went to high school with who went to Louisiana Lafayette. He's actually playing in the Yankees minor league system now. So I always kind of root for them. And yeah, Southern Miss, my parents went there, so it's kind of cool. But USF's up there with them, man. Southern Miss is the talk of college baseball right now. They've had an insane start to the year. They have been really cooking up there in Hattiesburg. So it's been a lot of fun, man. USF's program is really off to a hot start. Obviously, non-conference games don't have that same kind of weight that the conference play does, but it's still really important to take care of business in non-conference play and establish a really good foundation. And yeah, man, their offense is cooking really. I mean, they're doing a little bit of everything. They're getting it done on the base pass. They're swiping bags. They're also taking their walks. They're hitting home runs. So it's really fun. Their pitching staff's also doing a great job. There's a lot to like about this baseball team moving forward. They've been doing a great job. So we'll see, man. We'll see if they're able to take care of business against these conference opponents as well. But moving on to softball, they had a really impressive sweep of Charlotte this past weekend. They took a 7-2 win in the first one. And they're 6-0 now in conference play. The first time they've started that hot since 2012, 23-8 overall. They have a 7-game winning streak now. Alex Wilkes had a perfect day at the plate, went 3 for 3. She had an RBI as well, extends her hitting streak to 5 games. Olivia Elliott also went 2 for 2. She even had a 2-run bomb in the first inning to really set that tone early for USF. Alexa Galligani also had a solo shot in the third. And USF undefeated when they score 3 or more runs. Then Hannah Marion was really good on the mound. She's 5-0 on the year now. Only 1 earned run over 6 innings of work. And their pitching staff, man, that defense and the pitching staff, they're just really excellent. And they're 16-1, on the season when allowing 2 or fewer runs. So now it's a nice little fun trip to FGCU. They're facing them tonight in a non-conference midweek trip. It's actually coming on, I think right now. It's coming on
in a minute. Yeah, it's 5:59.
That's right. So some kind of fun stuff. They lead the NCAA with 31 sacrifice bunts. That's a really fun stat. I love that. Like small ball has kind of already died in Major League Baseball, but obviously softball, very different game. College softball, even more different. They play some different style of baseball, or in this case, softball. Mr. Treek, what are some other kind of fun little niche statistics that people might want to know about the USF softball?
Yeah, man. We are tied for 5th nationally with 18 double plays,
Pretty
tied
cool.
for 7th in the country with 11 triples. We're also 9th in the NCAA with a .982 fielding percentage, the second best mark in the conference. So this South Florida has recorded 15 sacrifice flies, which is also tied for 11th in the NCAA, and we lead the conference. So
that situational hitting, man, it's big.
Yeah.
It's big. When you can feel confident with runners in scoring position that you can get them in either by bunt or by sacrifice fly. If you're not striking out a whole lot, that's huge, especially once you get into this tournament style baseball or you're getting into the conference play. Like that's a big reason why they're having the success that they are, because if you're able to put bat on ball, then you can kind of overcome maybe some, whether it's talent deficiencies or whether it's a lack of power. Not saying that USF has either of those, but if you're maybe struggling to get runs across, it's really important to be able to lean on that situational style of hitting, because then, man, those sacrifice hits come into play a lot more in those closer games where the margins are just razor thin. So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I think that's a really cool. Those are a couple of really cool stats that I really enjoy. But how about the pitching staff? How are they doing in terms of their performance out there?
Yeah, no, man, for sure, dude. I'm just excited as you are. I didn't realize, we're like that even, in the whole NCAA, man.
Yeah,
But
man,
yeah, we're tied
absolutely.
for 16th in the NCAA. We lead the American Conference with 6 shutouts. USF ranks 23rd nationally, and has the best ERA, earned run average in the conference at 2.71. The Bulls are also tied for 38th and are second in the conference with a WHIP of 1.32.
That's pretty darn good. Yeah, man. When you're cooking like that on the mound, it's really tough to compete with. And it's interesting. I mean, I know in baseball there's this thing called the fielding independent pitching, which is sort of a new version of ERA. But softball, the ball gets put in play a little bit more, and especially the college level, like defense is solid, and USF's defense is very good, like you said, with that 98.2 fielding percentage. But even so, not every ball put in play is an automatic out. But it's really impressive. It's kind of the ERA thing is kind of a good collection of how good they are defensively, as well as their pitching staff doing an excellent job up there. So yeah, man, it's fun stuff. The softball team is putting in work for sure. Now moving on to the beach volleyball team, because they had the Coastal Carolina Invitational. How did they do out there, Mr. Tariq?
Dude, we've been kicking butt, man. Our beach volleyball team has been on fire. We got back-to-back wins over Morehead State and Coastal Carolina. USF has officially hit that 10-win mark on the season with, this past Friday's pair of victories, 5-0 sweep over Morehead State. USF winning every single court in straight sets. And then Kate Stewart and Teresa Lachakabova officially clinched the duel against Morehead State with that 21-13, 21-11 performance. And then, of course, following that, yeah, we got that 4-1 win over Coastal Carolina. We won 2 matches and then that went into full 3 sets. Shout out to Sasha Paslowski and Isabella Almeida, who came up huge against Coastal. They battled back from a set down to win 15-10 in the decider. Abigail Lagaman and Morgan Anderson helped seal the win as well with a steady 21-16, 21-15 straight set victory. So dominated the final day of the Coastal Carolina Invitational, pulling off as well a 5-0 back-to-back win over Tennessee Tech and Salem College. The team was perfect against Tennessee Tech. They won, every single court in straight sets. Again, Abigail Lagaman and then Josephine Seck were just on fire. Shout out to Zoe Mitchell, Cornelia Crudu, Alex Zapotka, Addison Bounds, all just putting in work out there. Alex Zapata and Addison Bounds actually achieved a major milestone by securing their first dual victory as a pair, so that was pretty nice. Just the first time this season the USF has recorded back-to-back sweeps on the same day. We're a young program, so we're bound to make, like a whole lot of records, you know what I'm saying? But
Right.
I don't know what to say other than, dude, this is just nuts, man. We have a great beach volleyball team.
Hey, man.
I actually have to see, where we match in the rankings. I didn't do any research, with the, beach volleyball rankings, but I have to say it is nice knowing, we are in a beach volleyball state. We're in a beach
That's
volleyball
right.
city. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like respect to UF if I assume they would have a beach volleyball team since they're in Florida, but like they're not by the beach. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Same thing with FSU. Same thing with UCF, dude. You know what I'm saying?
For
So,
sure.
um, yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's really fun stuff. They really took care of business in Coastal Carolina, and yeah, man, that advantage of not only being near the beach, but also having the pull of saying, hey, we're right near the beach. In fact, one of our campuses is also right near the beach. So like, it's a big deal, man. It's huge. It's massive. I can't imagine that that is not a recruiting point for some of these players to say, hey, look, like that team's really close to the beach.
Well, well, the thing is, yeah, Carter, we're a young team and we're kicking butt, dude. We're
That's
running
right.
over, big schools like Coastal and
Yeah.
yeah, Tennessee Tech, even other schools in the past, other
Yeah,
big names.
other
So,
big programs for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, it's massive to be that young and to be able to go out there and win these games or win these matches and show out in these invitationals and these tournaments. It's really cool. But now they're entering a bye week, so we won't really have a whole lot to talk about next week for the USF beach volleyball team. But they will return to action the following week, March 27th to 28th in Clearwater for the Stampede Beach opener. Kind of a fun one. All just right down the road in Clearwater. That's kind of cool. So definitely something to keep our eye on. Moving on to tennis. I got to be honest, Musab. The past few weeks have been kind of a bummer for tennis. I have been. It hasn't been pretty. They haven't necessarily been playing as well as they could be. But man, for the men's team, they really turned it around this past week. They were at home. They took on number 37 Middle Tennessee, and they pulled off a massive upset, 5-2 victory overall. Give me something on that. Who were some key performances? How did they arrive to this kind of big deal? Kind of, like pulling off the upset, man.
Dude, this is massive, man. Just because, unfortunately, yeah, man, our boys have not been looking good.
Right. It's
These
been rough.
last couple of weeks. So,
Mhm.
yeah, man, this was a big win against Middle Tennessee. A 5-2 victory. It wasn't like we just scraped by them. I mean, this was convincing. Our doubles team of Tameo Gillard and Elijah Sham, Toto Lanis, and James Newton both secured 6-2 wins to give USF that early 1-0 lead. Hugo Carr making a major statement on court one, defeating the nation's 80th ranked player in straight sets, 6-3, 6-4. So I think Hugo Carr is warming up because I know
Yeah,
he's
he's
lost
starting good.
he's lost to a couple of ranked players in the past from what I was reading
Mhm.
earlier this season. So he's cooking now. And then Stepan Maruzek, he kept that momentum going. He got a 6-4, 6-3 win on court three. And that bumped USF up to 3-0 with a 3-0 lead. And then Gugi Verdis, showing great composure. It was a physical match. He won 7-5 to 6-4, officially clinching that team win. And then Augustin Coelar capped off the afternoon by winning a gritty third set on court four to finish his match 6-2, 4-6, 7-6. But I will say, just a heads up in case we didn't really go over it. Once you hit four, it's already game over. It's just the other games are just played as a formality, or you're just like,
Sure.
fine, let the boys play.
Right.
Because I know sometimes that was something I learned as well, as that's why some games they don't finish, just because it's like one team's already kind of officially won. So for whatever reason, the coaches decide. So that's why you'll see a 5-2 victory here. But then, unfortunately, it was a close loss. We lost to the 70th ranked Rice at home. Tameo Gillard, Elijah Sham, they did what they could in doubles play. They got that win, 6-3 in the number 3 position. Stepan Maruzek, he dominated his singles match, putting USF on the board 6-3, 6-3. And then Gugi Verdis, he kept the pressure on the Rice Owls, 6-3, 6-1 win. Augustin Coelar, he showed a lot of heart, finishing out his first set tie break, and then he finished his opponent, 7-6, 6-2. Despite those individual wins, Rice, got the overall team victory by taking the doubles point, and then 3 of the 6 single court wins. So, hey, man, it is what it is. Of course, kind of sucks, especially being that it was a conference loss.
Yeah.
Makes you scratch your head because you're like, we beat the 37
Right.
team, but we lost the 70th. So, a lot of things are still very fluid. And in tennis, it's also like it's really kind of any given Sunday. You'll see it a lot in the professional level as well. Players, losing just here, there, not at like small tournaments, but they'll lose in the quarters or semis, like really good players. You know what I'm saying? So,
Sure.
it happens. But look, we're gonna bounce back this Friday. We're taking on the FAU Owls. So that should be fun. A little better, the East and West Coast Florida.
That's
So
right.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
But on the other hand, our women's, we're cooking it up. I know, Carter, we had mentioned very briefly last episode, because as we were finishing our episode, our USF women's tennis team beat VCU 4-3.
that's right. Yeah, they managed to pull off a really gritty comeback win because it got off to a relatively ugly start. But luckily, Francesca Miglio and Melissa Senley were the standouts of the evening. They both won their doubles match 6-3. And then they also dominated in singles play. They had straight set victories. But the match came down to the wire. Margarita Marcone, she was a set down, but then she won 6-2, 7-5 to put the USF women's team on the brink of victory. And then Luana Vargas, she clinched it for USF on court 6. She got a 6-3, 7-6 victory to complete that singles rally. It was really fun. And then they managed to come up with a pretty nice victory as well. They took down Yale, who's ranked number 43 in the country, with another close 4-3 victory. So some kind of white knuckle wins this past weekend, but a win's a win's a win. You can the whole cliche. But they continued their strong doubles play with Melissa Senley and Francesca Miglio again coming out and really doing their thing. She also earned a 6-3 victory. Emily Drukarova and Josephine Falster, they also got that 6-3 W as well. And Melissa Senley just continuing her dominance on the singles court, 6-2, 6-1 straight set victory at the number 1 singles spot to hold that early lead. But the match was really decided on court 6. Freshman Luana Vargas, she stepped up again to clinch the USF win with a 6-4, 6-4 performance. So it was kind of tough, though. They managed to end the weekend on a bit of a low note. They dropped a 4-1 decision to Liberty Sunday morning. Liberty took the doubles points with victory at the number 2 and number 3 positions. Melissa Senley, again, she was really good, but unfortunately just wasn't quite enough. She took home a 6-1, 6-1 number 2 singles match victory. That was the team's only point of the day. So it was really tough. They're now 5-8 on the season. So we'll see. There were a few unfinished matches, especially for freshman Luana Vargas. So that kind of is a bummer, but they're going to hit the road and they're facing Coastal Carolina today at Coastal Carolina. So we'll see how that goes. And then after that, they go to College of Charleston tomorrow. And I'm sorry, Musab I think they might have finished up that ECU game. Do we have a result for that? I think did they pull out a victory against Coastal or no? Yeah, it was a tough one. A 1-4 loss to Coastal, like Musab said, it's tough. But we'll see if they're able to move on against against College of Charleston, excuse me. So it's tough. You win some, you lose some, but we'll see if they're able to get things going tomorrow. But that about does it for us at USF Bulls, the RBLR Bulls show. The USF athletic department has really been cooking. They've been doing a lot of wonderful things. We'll see if they're able to keep up their hot ways in the tournament with the men's basketball team. We'll see if they make any decisions with the women's basketball team. It seems like that might not happen, unfortunately, because, they've got the whole tournament ahead of them. So they might want to be interviewing assistant coaches at bigger programs. But regardless, we'll keep y'all in the loop about everything USF athletics related. We'll be back next week, regardless of what happens tomorrow against Louisville, as well as whatever happens with the tennis teams. We'll keep you in the loop. Be on the lookout and give us a like and subscribe on the way out if you like what you heard. But for me and my wonderful co-host, Mr. Musab Tariq, really appreciate y'all tuning in. So until next week, but as always, go Bulls.
Go Bulls.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.